Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here at the Avon Park Aero Models Club. We're going to be taking up the F9F Panther from Freewing. Yeah, Freewing F9F Panther 70mm. This is one of their first 70mm that have the quick connect wings. All you have to do is pull these tabs and your wing slides in and slides out. You got one ribbon to deal with. Got some nice scale working gear. Got a 4900 SMC pack in there, and I forget where CG is, but pretty well good on CG. Let's take it up. This kind of plane you want to have perfectly level. Now the wind is kind of out of the north, but not real strong, and this plane's very efficient, so you can actually set your timer for 5 minutes, no problem. Right, left, up, down, right, left, running at my high rates. Got a 7-channel Lemon RX Gen 2 stabilized receiver and a KM model afterburner inside there. This is really truly is a little pocket rocket. If you're looking for your first scale 70, this is an excellent choice.
Starting the fun over.
All right. Also a great warm-up jet too. That's only half throttle right there. Alright, gonna bring it right at us. Take it up.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Flip it. Alright, I'm gonna bring the gear down.
Tracks deployed. Landing flaps. Braking. Brakes off.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention,
Flaps are
she has
up.
reverse thrust. Alright. Now we're going to come back down here, we'll take off from the west. I mean, since the wind is coming directly across the runway, then it doesn't really matter which way I take off. Now our grass, it rained all night long, so our grass is super dense. And so I don't even want to try grass hops today. All right, here we go.
Time remaining 3 minutes. Flaps are up.
Nice scale takeoff. Take her straight up, flip it. Great sounding jet. Great little flyer for a 70mm. That was a full speed pass. Still full speed. All right, we're gonna slow it down.
Tracks deployed.
I'll slow it down a little bit.
Landing flaps.
All right.
Time remaining 2 minutes. Flaps are
A
up.
little touch and go there.
Gear up.
There. Kill the motor, let it glide on down. Hit it. Do that again. Tail slide. Take it up again. All right, let's do a nice low and slow pass right down the runway.
Landing flaps. Time remaining 1 minute.
All right, well, as we come by, we're gonna put the gear down.
Retracts deployed.
There, gear is down.
Braking. 30-sec brakes off. Flaps are up. "20 seconds. Prop is secured.
All right, let's take it back to the bench. We'll talk about it. All right, we're back. We had 12 seconds left on a 5-minute timer. This plane's very economical on battery. Let me unplug that beautiful KM model afterburner. The battery is warm. Of course, my hands are cold. Battery's got 26% left. So if you've got this is a 4900 SMC pack. There's one of their version 2s. I'll show it to you in just a second, but anything close to a 5000, you can set your timer for 5 minutes, 4.5 to 5 minutes. 5 minutes, so really honestly you can do it. I'm running a 7-channel Lemon RX Gen 2 with stabilizer. Let me share my rates with you. I flew in my high rates the entire time. Ailerons are 100% with 30% expo. Elevator 100% with 30% expo, and rudder 100% but with 50% expo. All right, my flap settings that I just flew in, that I used. There is no mix needed with this type of plane. It doesn't need one, so that's awesome. And I don't have a flight mode in. Flaps up are a negative 100%. Takeoff are a negative 55, and landing is a negative 20 with a 2-second deployment. All right, and that's all the settings there is, folks, because I don't have AS3X Plus and all that. All right, let me show you some features about the plane. As I mentioned before, all you have to do is slide these 2 pins in, and the wing slides out in one piece, and there's one ribbon to hook up, just one ribbon for your flaps and your ailerons. There are no lights to the plane. It would be nice if there are. Very fast, good working suspension gear. CG, I don't know the actual numbers. It'll be in the description of the video, but it's actually on the bottom of the wing. It's actually written right on there. You can feel the CG marks. That's why I didn't put my glue mod and put drops of hot glue on there to feel the CG, because they got the CG clearly marked and you can feel it. And she's basically perfectly level right there, which this kind of traditional wing setting, that's what you want. Now this little zip tie here is something that's not part of the plane. It's something I modded, and all that is just a zip tie that I've lopped off and poked through there, and that way I can grab a hold of that instead of digging at the side of the canopy with my fingers. All right, this is where I have to get that perfect CG. This is where the 4900 SMC pack is. Basically just the lip of it tucked underneath there. There's the 7-channel Luminarx Gen 2, and of course this yellow and black wire is the KM model afterburner. I think this one is a version, I have to look at the back of it. This is a version 3 KM model, so it just turns the yellow. It doesn't have the blue and all the pretty colors. Let me show you that pack real quick. I'll have a link to these batteries in the description of the video. Now, right now, SMC is out of their high voltage packs. Okay, they're retooling them, but this is where you get an SMC. And don't let, and when you get an SMC pack, if it feel like you run hot on you, they're designed to run hot, because you get the full performance of the flight all the way from the beginning all the way to the end of the flight. Like a lot of lipos, the regular lipo, you got the first real burst of speed in the first third, and then cruising the second third, and then the last third it kind of starts waning off. That's not the case with the SMC pack. You get the full performance the entire flight. That's just my personal experience with the SMC that I found. And SMC, for every pack that they've sent me, I've also bought packs. So they've sent for me for review, but I've also have bought packs from also. So I feel like I can give you an unbiased opinion about them, because for me, I was against high voltage packs for a long time, because I thought, well, you know, I hear a lot of bad things. But once I started, one of my viewers said, you got to try them, you got to try them. So I bought a couple of them, because I always buy at least 2 batteries at a time, and I loved them. And then I bought a couple of more and loved those. And then I finally reached out to SMC. They said, yeah, we know who you are. We've seen your channel. I said, well, could I review some of your batteries? And they said, sure, we'll send you some batteries. And I bought some, and they sent me some. So, well, there you go. That's my thing about SMC pack. This is the 70mm. This is the Freewing F9F Panther 70mm. If you're looking for your first scale 70mm jet warbird, Korean area, legacy jet area, this is definitely a great contender. The only drawback to this plane is orientation can be a bit of an issue given the color of it, and depending on how the sky is. But what I do to get around that is I focus on that tail. The tail has a very distinct shape, and in the sky it's easy to tell whether she's inverted or not, and because of the shape of that tail, it's easy for me to tell which way is up with it. That's just my orientation anchor, is fixating on that tail. So that's whatever way you need to watch the plane, you know, to make sure your orientation. I happen to use the tail, and that's what I suggest. All right, well, y'all have a good, and God bless y'all. Gabriel, thank you for filming. And Freewing, thank you for taking $309 or whatever it was of my money to buy this. And y'all have a good, and bye-bye.